Hello, everyone. Hey, hey, hey. Good to see everyone. As I just said, feels good to be back in the saddle. It's been a few weeks. It's actually been 3 weeks since I've been on here with you guys. It seems a lot longer than 3 weeks. Looks like J-Lo. Let's see. It says the weekly huddle with J-Lo, which is kind of cool. I don't know how she did that, but I'm not J-Lo. I'm B sort of high. I'm not real tall, but I'm not low. J Lo, I don't know how you did it. It's cool. But welcome everybody to the
Oh
huddle.
no.
Glad you guys are here. Great to see the faces here, the smiles. Look, even best friend since fourth grade. Look, Deanna's here. Fantastic. Robin Smith, your smile is always amazing. I mean, all of your smiles are amazing, but I'm just scanning through Jenny. Look at Jenny. She's the rock star. Is it cold up there, Jenny? It's got to be cold up there. Oh my gosh.
Actually, we're in a heat wave. It's in the upper 30s and 40s.
Upper 30s. I hear there's some pretty nasty weather on the, no pun intended, the cat's out of the bag. We got Dr. Cat here tonight, guys. But she's like, man, we had tornadoes. So there's some rough weather bouncing around. So if you guys are experiencing any of that, hope everything goes well for you. Glad you're here. I certainly understand weather and sometimes Wi-Fi gets a little funky. So as you guys know, a lot of us were away in another time zone, several time zones. We were in Thailand for 7 or 8 days, which was amazing, guys. It was amazing. Maybe some of you guys have seen the pictures. Um, It's funny, my wife and I have been on so many incentives with the company in beautiful places, but we got checked into the place in Thailand. We were overlooking this body of water. I don't even know what body of water that was. I should do better than that. But anyway, beautiful body of water. And my wife and I kind of looked at each other and she said it before I did. She's like, this is inspiring. And I knew exactly what she meant because it takes activity, it takes work to qualify for those events. But the company does such an amazing job. It's worth the work. And so I just want all of you guys to know that these trips are something that are really incredible, not at the sacrifice of building your business the proper way. We've talked about that before, but nevertheless, it was great. Australia before that. So anyway, it was busy for 3 weeks, but I'm happy to be back here with you guys tonight. We have a very, 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 very special guest with here tonight. Maybe we've got some guests on here tonight in the chat. If you're a guest, maybe say hello. We'd love to recognize you. Oh, the Gulf of Thailand. There you go. Ask the doctor, she'll know. Um, I think I hung out. Well, yeah, and yeah, she was there with us. We were doing all kind of different things. I know your son was right there with me on the paddle board, which is really really cool. But if you're a guest here, guys, say hello in the chat. Elizabeth maybe is a guest. Welcome. We start these huddles out each week with what we call wins for the week. So I'd like for anyone that's on here tonight, if you would like to, please in the chat or on camera, unmute yourself, have the camera on if you can, and share some wins for the week. I see some, let's see, my hands are going up there. Let's go with Jenny. Here's some wins for the week, Jenny.
Okay. We've just come off the most incredible 4-day stretch. Some of I'll be keep posting it because the pictures were awesome. We had Terza Chocolat Bryant here for 5 days. We had a consultant training, cross-team consultant training Thursday night. Then we had a lunch and learn on Friday with new guests and awesome new signups. And then Super Saturday, which was incredible. And then Super Sunday with Jerry Jamel in Hyde Park. So it was the richest thing. She stayed at our house, and I cannot say enough for this team. I cannot say enough, not only for our TBC team, but the team of people in the region that really pulled their resources together and helped out. Um, I would encourage anybody when you're putting together something like a superset or an event, just to try to package it together with a series of days. Um, and if anybody gets a chance to learn from Terza and her systems, it's just different than we've approached it before. She has challenged our team. She'll come back, but she's challenged her team on this particular week or any week just to do a whole series of things so that she will come on. She will do some follow-ups with us. So incredible, off the charts, and this team rocks.
Awesome. That's awesome. 4 straight days. That's awesome. That is a huge win. So thanks for sharing that, Jenny. And we love hearing your wins. Jenny is a rock star. If you guys don't know who Jenny is, has helped so many people in their journey with their health. And side note, she's made a lot of money with us. Just keep that between us. She's made a lot of money with LifeVantage. Let's go to Holly Thomas.
I'll be quick. Thanks, Brandon. I see lots of hands up. But a shout out to Lisa Baumers and Amber. Both have multiple enrollments this month already, which is awesome. And I know I mentioned before, like they regularly host events. So I think that goes hand in hand. But also, I sit here on their team calls like this, and I look at the folks on my team that show up every single week, and they're just consistently on the calls and plugging in. And I just appreciate that so much. I just love you guys for doing that. And then can I do like a shameless plug, you guys? Because 2 years in the making. Can I do it, Brandon? Is that okay?
Yeah.
My book is almost ready to go live. And I'm just so excited. You guys, it's been 2 years, 2 years, and it's finally like
Hold it up. Hold it up.
I'm almost ready to click live on Amazon. So be looking for it if it's something that you might like to read. But
Oh
um,
my
just
gosh.
super, super proud of my team and just love what they're doing. Liz Goring's in so many business conversations right now. It's like, I don't know how she keeps up. So like just loving that, loving it.
That's awesome, Holly. We are proud of you. We will buy the book. We
Thank
will
you.
all learn from your wisdom for sure. That's awesome. And congratulations.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
see Liz has got a few guests that are on here tonight. Get Liz. That is awesome. Very proud of you. Let's see. Let's go to Robin Smith. Let's see that smile, Robin. There it is.
Thank you. Um, so my new consultant, Linda Lee, she's amazing. She's a rock star because she has been calling me. She went to the Myrtle Beach for a vacation and like, I need you to do this three-way call and I need you to get on a Zoom. And so I got on there after I had to do some other things for her. Well, anyway, so far she has three new customers for this month. And then she also has somebody that said they're going to sign up at the end of the month as a consultant. And she just texted me the other day and said she might have another new consultant. And then also, who else? Somebody else. Sharita, Sharita got a new customer this month, and she's been talking to people in the gym. And matter of fact, we kind of did a three-way. I was on Zoom because we work out together like every morning, and I was actually on Zoom with her while she was at the gym. And she got me to talk with somebody else, and they said, I'm definitely going to try the product. So it's just awesome just being able to help each other and just being on Iris's team because she's a rock star doing amazing things herself. So I'm trying to follow those footsteps. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've heard the great stuff happening in you guys' team. Congratulations. There is a lot of duplication happening over there, and quick. Like Iris shared a story that we will have in the huddle soon. I think it's just dynamic. And Sharita, every time I think of Sharita, she's like, I can't sell, and then she gives me a business card, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what? You guys, if you don't know Sharita, you need to know she's a trip. So last one, let's go to J Lo.
Awesome. Well, it was super quick. Like last week, I was given the opportunity to meet someone through Positive Coaching Alliance. Not this, but something else. So I always take that opportunity to share LifeVantage, right? Like, why not? You're in front of somebody. So ironically, he was from Louisiana. Brandon, you're gonna love this.
They're
I said,
smart, great
really?
people. They're already, I know they're smart, great people.
I said, Louisiana. I said, oh, awesome. I said, do you know Tori and Tim Hill? He's like, no, but I'm from Homa. I said, wait a minute.
What?
Time out. And I said, really? I said, I know some other folks from that area. And he goes, you do? I said, yeah, do you know Tim? He said, Bobby was my best friend. I said, what? Bobby Cox was in his house. I said, well, then I have to ask you the next question because Tim and Sarah and all these folks, I had to ask you, like, do you know about Life? And she said, Life what? No. I said, perfect. Tim and Sarah were executive consultants at one point in this company, and they didn't tell them. So I said, well, I'm telling you.
Okay, well, so let me interrupt. I'm just going to tell you the Cox family in South Louisiana is rather large, right, Tori? It's not just like a dozen of them. There's probably a few thousand people with that last name in South Louisiana, but nevertheless,
Mhm.
Sarah Cox was the youngest female executive consultant. And for those of you that don't know what that means she was making over $100,000 a year with this company. And I think she was 21 or 22 years old.
Mhm.
That's what that means.
Yeah. So this gentleman, we have follow up this week. I'm gonna see him on Friday. So, you know, we'll see
That's
where,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, I know some
And what
people
are
in
you
Houma.
gonna do, J-Lo? You're
You,
gonna,
you, you two, yeah, you two are going to connect. He said, I can't wait to meet her. So actually, Wednesday or Thursday, he might have availability for a Zoom. So just be ready. I'll give you
so
a
she's
call.
using third-party validation, people.
All
Yep.
right. Awesome stuff. Thank you guys for sharing your wins for the week. If you're a guest on here, these are not rehearsed. This is part of what we do because every one of you have a choice every second of the day. You can look for the good in things or you can look for the bad. The majority of the world loves the bad. They love the drama, they love the bad, and they love talking about it, but they hate their life. And the people who choose to look for the good are the ones who typically enjoy their days, enjoy their life. And it's really that simple. You can focus on the good, focus on the bad. It's everywhere in all of our lives and every day. I challenge my team to journal every day wins for the day so that when we get on here every week, you can share a couple of those wins, regardless of what those wins are. It doesn't always have to be just LifeVantage wins. It's just wins for the day because I know if you're doing that daily, at least for some moment, like the saying is, don't let a bad day fool you into thinking you have a bad life. Don't let a bad day fool you in thinking you have a bad life. Okay. So, enough of that. Let's get to our special guest that's with us tonight. She's been waiting. She's been patient. You guys, this call should have happened like what, Dr. Cat, 2 months ago. It was like cancel, 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 cancel. So she has lovingly moved her schedule around, and she's in bad weather right now. Some of you guys know Dr. Cat. It's Catherine. But if you don't, she is a doctor that focuses, and you can correct me on this. I'd like to know more about your education, but it focuses on prenatal care and care for ladies that have just had, are going through raising the children. What am I? What? Tell me the right words, Kat. I'm losing my train of thought.
Pediatric and prenatal and post, yeah,
Pediatric.
chiropractic.
Yeah, and prenatal. So I'm really kind of curious a little bit more, but go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit. Let everybody know where you're from, a little bit of your background.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on here with you all. I'm about 26 years into being a pediatric and prenatal chiropractor, board certified in pediatric and prenatal, actually, and in functional medicine. I've been married 20 years, have two boys, and I have been part of this company for about 10 and a half years, almost exactly. And yeah, what else would you like to know?
And she's produced millions of dollars in sales
Oh,
with LifeVantage. She's produced millions in sales with LifeVantage as a busy mom and a busy business owner and a doctor. Okay, so if you're on here and you're like, I'm busy, I don't know if I can do this. Yes, you can. So tell us a little bit about when you were introduced to this. I'm sure as a chiropractor, you get introduced to a lot of things. Tell us what that looked like when you were introduced to it. What got your attention as a doctor about our science?
about the science. Okay, so well, yes, you're correct. I'm approached regularly, and I had a little bit of a resistance, if you can imagine, to hearing this information. It was actually introduced to me in maybe March, April of 2015, and it took probably until about August for me to even consider partnering with a company with no intention of ever taking the products, just partnering to be able to have access to the products because, the science is there. But what really caught my attention was something that the person who introduced me to this information said. They're pediatric OT. And they said, regardless of whether or not you move forward and do something with this, you have an onus on you as a healthcare practitioner to know what this is, to know what that is. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a bit of FOMO and don't like people to know things that I should know. And then when I really understood a little bit more, as I started to dig into more functional medicine, I realized that everything, and I mean, I just was in North Carolina 2 days after getting back from Thailand. I flew to North Carolina for a medical conference on pediatrics and special needs, and everything is oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction and the cell, everything. Regardless of your genetics, regardless of anything that you do, if the cell is not well, you're not well.
That is powerful. I've never thought of that angle, guys. Now, not that I'm endorsing that all of you should run out and just target doctors. That's not what I'm doing. But what she just said is so powerful because if you do have the opportunity to be in front of someone in the medical field, no one likes to be out of the loop, especially a doctor. Like a doctor not knowing something that the patient knows is not a good look. That is not a good look. So I hope you guys are taking some notes that, you might see someone in your doctor and say, hey, you probably have a responsibility to know what I know about oxidative stress or cellular activity. That's powerful. So, okay, you get introduced to it. You see the science. What kind of flipped the light on for you to take the next steps beyond just the product? So now we're talking the business side of this thing. You got you're a doctor, you got this practice. Why? Why were you interested in the business side of this thing?
Well, I would tell you that systems are key, and having someone believe in you before you believe in yourself is really important. Third party validation, the systems always prevail here. I was introduced to the next right person, made sure that I was connected with other folks who could validate this for me. And then I was encouraged to attend an event. And I did not want to go to an event because I have to go to events to maintain my licensure. And I know now that I also have to go to events regardless to grow this business, to be in business. You can't do it without training. I can't maintain my license as a healthcare professional without training. So you can't, whatever. And I had my 10th wedding anniversary trip planned to St. Lucia for the same weekend as the Phoenix convention in 2015. And I really just did not want to go. And I think there was loving persistence. And when I went to the event, the rest is kind of history. Actually, I saw you guys teaching on the comp plan, you and Lynette. You were already at the time pro tens or presidentials, and it's just powerful. And then you kind of see that there's another way. So.
Well, let me dig into that a little bit because I told her before this was going to be a conversation and not it's not an interview. This is a conversation, but I'm a little curious now. You mentioned third-party validation. So is that how you came in? Did someone put you into a three-way call, or do you rely on that?
Someone put me into it. I went kicking and screaming, Brandon. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was very resistant, but I also really respected the person who had introduced me to the information. And I felt some sort of obligation to at least, she's like, if you want nothing to do with this after this, that's cool. And eventually I got to an in-person gathering. And when I showed up, and I thought, I thought it was just like a gathering of folks and bring your business cards and we'll just all chat about the science of LifeVantage and the science of NRF2, because I think we had NRF2, Axio, and the skincare, and that's it. Um, I was, I said, okay. She said, I'm going to be there with my baby. I was like, you're 3 week old? You're going to be at a business meeting? She's like, yeah. All right, fine. I'll bite. I'll come. And I show up and there are 35 people there and it's a full room and there's a veterinarian, there's some doctors of physical therapy and the other people. And that was validating. And then I just had FOMO. So, I joined, but it took continual, and this is something that I encourage, and I don't want to hijack anything that you teach, but we're always doing third party. Once we're in this company, like getting people to the next event and doing the next thing, it's always the third party. I yeah.
Yeah, so you use third party, someone used third party to help validate for you to get you in. Then you end up at this event that you really didn't want to go to. So I hope you guys are kind of connecting the dots here, guys. Third party validation is a critical piece of our business. And for someone like Dr. Cat, really super important because not everyone's a doctor. So one of the things that I'm sure she has to overcome is, oh, it's going to work for you because you're a doctor. I'm not a doctor. That's why you use third party validation, right? So Dr. Cat probably puts non-medical people on calls purposely so that people say, they're not a doctor, right? So you don't need to be a doctor to do the business. In fact, Dr. Cat, has it been your experience that doctors are usually pretty bad at this?
Yes. I think doctors and salespeople are probably the worst at this, but I think having a burning desire, being coachable, I had at the time 2 really young boys, one who had just turned 2, and I had 5 years of infertility to have them. And even though I loved what I did and still do, but very part-time now as a chiropractor, I was still trading dollars for hours, still taking time away from them. And it's just life is a little different now. And I would tell you that I didn't even have, like, when people feel like you have to talk to my chiropractor. No chiropractor spoke to me. You don't need that at all. It's lovely, but it's not duplicable. It's not reproducible, because then you'll have to rely on one person to do that. And so I just, as uncomfortable as it might be in the beginning, it's the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So sounds like you had a big reason, or what we say, a why, right? You had a why to do this business. That's not unlike any of our other whys. Like typically, guys, the more I've done this long enough that if we really strip this back, most people's reason for doing everything in life comes back to loved ones, whether it's their immediate family or extended family. Everything we do in life comes back to that. It's our why. It's in us. And given a choice of going spend 8 hours a day for 5 days a week with maybe things you don't necessarily want to do versus spending that time with people you love, we know what we would choose. Unfortunately, most people can't do that because you got to pay the bills. That is the beauty of what is in front of you. If you're a guest here tonight, that's the beauty of what's in front of you. This is an option to be able to earn money that can eventually turn into significant money. You guys, you just heard Dr. Cat now that you're kind of part-timing as a chiropractor. So has this now LifeVantage, this partnership, what does that look like now? What choices has it given you that you didn't have before?
Well, great question. I mean, I remember a time just before the pandemic when I had a flood in my office, and you never get to really know what your landlord is like until you have an emergency. And I should have known the writing was on the wall because he behaved the same way during the pandemic. But he had the expectation that I would maintain paying my rent, even though I couldn't be in the space for 10 weeks because it was like a sewage backup. It was his issue. But nevertheless, I had to displace myself and see patients elsewhere. And I was still full time. and building LifeVantage in the nooks and crannies, building by business partners, because that was like our comp plan was more oriented towards that, but I still think that's the way to go anyway. More leverage, more time leverage. And I was able to supplement the income that was missing. And then fast forward in the pandemic, when I really was forced to go part-time, it took a while. I got a very small PPP loan, but I had very little reimbursement from the government, and I never had to let go staff or anything. I was able to use some of my LifeVantage income to support one of my months of rent in my practice. And now what it looks like is I never had to go back to full time. I enjoy practice, which is why I still do it. It also keeps me up to the trends and so forth, and always more validation for this business. But I love my why now is different. My why now, definitely, I have the why of getting to the higher EC ranks, but for more than just the financial bit, but to also elevate this industry. I'm like really passionate about. I was passionate about elevating chiropractic, and I'm passionate about elevating the industry of network marketing. There is just not another place where other people can be on an equal and level playing field. Like to play on the beaches of Thailand with all of you, and not there were a few chiropractors there, because I think a few of us catch on to this stuff, but that's not everyone's profession before network marketing who was present there. So
Yeah, yeah. I'd love for you to give the group here some advice. Maybe those that are, aren't earning what they would like to earn yet, and it's relative, right? Some of you are trying to earn your first 1,000, some of you are trying to earn your first 10,000, some are trying to earn their first 100,000. It's all relative. Give them some advice for what's helped you, I'd say, get over the hump. Like when I say over the hump, what that means to me is Dr. Cat is experiencing leverage. The hump to me is leverage. Like once you get a little bit of leverage, it's amazing, right? So give them some advice of what it took and what you did to start getting some leverage, gaining some business partners, and getting things moving. What were some of the key things you did?
got it. Well, one, I trusted the advice of the mentors that had built that had what I wanted. Like Marcy Steiner and a few others who were in my support system that kind of had paved the way. So I would say that. Two, you get back to the basics, the income producing activities. I think a lot of times we think we're doing work in LifeVantage and we're active, but we're not in action. There's a big distinction between activity and action. And so I think, sitting down and, if rate of exposure is rate of success. So if you're not out there talking to people, you're not inviting and introducing and connecting people, or ITTing or whatever you call it, on this lovely team, we need to be accountable, and that can be challenging. So if you are, not great because you have had more, or you have an employee lifestyle where you're used to a boss telling you what to do, this can be more challenging. And so you got to put your entrepreneurial hat on and then just be like, okay, well, if I want to be able to move the needle forward, this is how much it takes for me to be able to have leverage. And then you reverse engineer what that looks like. If you know that you want to make a couple $1,000s a month, that you need to know I need to be MC, whatever it is. And then you go and talk to your leader and say, help me figure out exactly how many business partners and exactly what this looks like, and then get to work on basically inviting and introducing this to people who are high vibe. Don't try to push ropes. Somebody doesn't want in. Next. So that's my advice, is to get into action, not just activity. Read database if you need to. Take the next right step.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really great advice. I can tell you a statistic that I need to probably calibrate, but I will tell you up until about 3 years ago, here's a statistic for you. For every teammate that you bring to a destination event, so you heard Dr. Kat talk about an event in Phoenix. Guys, she lives on the East Coast. She lives near Baltimore, D.C. area, right? She lives on the East Coast. You guys know where Phoenix, Arizona is. It's not the East Coast. She's a doctor. She's a mom. Took sacrifice, took time. She went to Phoenix. Here's the deal. Here's the statistic. For every person you bring to the big destination events, it's worth $1,000 in residual income to you.
Yep. And I definitely saw that. I would say mostly before the pandemic, I could line it up person for person. It lined up with that and my rank at the time and everything. You're 1,000% correct. And I haven't missed an event. There were times when I've had events kind of overlap a little bit. I'm on the science advisory board too for LifeVantage, and there's just no missing. There's no missing an event. And that can be challenging, y'all. So there were times when I flew in for half of the event and then flew out for the other half of the other event because you got to do what you got to do. Um, so, you
Yeah.
know,
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. The team, I'm sure, has gained a lot of value from you. And you don't have to like wear gloves with our team. They're pretty callous group of folks, and I love that.
I
Because
know
we
that already.
yeah,
I see Tori over there.
yeah, yeah. We talk straight because we believe that's the fastest path to success. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of the company. You add
Thank
such
you.
value. The company needs more people like you. And so we're very appreciative for what you bring to the table. Thank you for being on here.
Thank you so much, you guys. And feel free, to talk with me when I see you in Las Vegas because you're going to be in Las Vegas, right?
Yep, that's right. All right, so here in closing out the call, I want to share this with you guys, and I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit more in the coming weeks. Um, I know you guys don't. Some of you don't like the word sales, um, and I get it because I have been the victim of a bad salesman. Not that I purchased their stuff, but they just put the sales breath on you, and you're like, dude, step back. Like I'll let you know if I need something, right? We've all been around that. And we don't want sales breath. So that's when I'm saying sales, please don't let your mind go there. Here's the thing. We may not like sales, but we like getting what we want. We like getting our way. Would you guys agree? You like getting your way? Okay, now we don't go through life just doing things our way, but at the end of the day, there's going to be things that you need to happen to accomplish what you want. Okay, so let me give you a little story here. I was gone for 2 weeks. If you're in the South around oak trees, they're making a big mess right now. Everything is green. My beautiful truck is green when I get home, right? So I gotta go take it and get it washed. I go get it washed. Literally, this is yesterday. Literally minutes after I roll out of the car wash, it starts raining. That ever happen to you guys? As soon as you wash your car, it starts raining? Uh-huh. That was me. So I was like, I'm a little OCD when it comes to this type stuff. So I'm like, I can't believe this. So I go online, I'm looking for their policies. Do they have a rain check? Nope. So I go to the gym. I got to pass the car wash on the gym. I'm coming home and like, you know what? I know they don't have a policy, but I'm getting my truck washed and I'm not paying for it. I roll into the car wash. I see the very same guy that was there yesterday. Nice kid, sunglasses. I roll up to him and guys, I almost talked myself out of it. I'm like, I'm busy. It was 9:30. I'm like, I got to Zoom in 1 hour with some leaders. I got to have breakfast. Like I was trying to talk myself out of it. I'm like, nope, I'm going in. I said, hey, you remember me from yesterday? Yeah, I remember you from yesterday. I said, hey, you ever wash your car and then it rains right after? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's not good, is it? He's like, no. I was like, so that's what happened to me yesterday. Here's my receipt. I said, would it be all right with you? I just run this thing through the car wash. He's like, yeah, no problem. Flips the little lever up. The flag goes up. I go through. I get my truck washed. My truck's beautiful. It's clean. It's shining right now. I got what I wanted. Do you know what I had to do to make that happen? I had to sell. You want to know how one of the first things I did to sell? This. You guys watch real closely. Real closely. I did this. I smiled. Some of you are smiling right now. Okay? There are skills. There are skills, guys, and you don't have to be sleazy. Maybe you just have to smile. Maybe just make some eye contact. Do you know how rare it is for people to make eye contact these days? Learn the skills of looking a human in the eye, smiling, maybe complimenting them, maybe getting some common ground, maybe joking, get some rapport, and just ask for what you want. That's what we do. And if you can't do that, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be just this angry, disgruntled person with a dirty truck all the time. That's what you're going to be. You're going to be the person angry, not getting the things you want because you just didn't learn how to get your way. And not in a sleazy way. Nothing sleazy about a smile. And I know we're a little bit over time, but I'm going to be going into this kind of a series because we are living, this is serious. We are living in some very uncertain times, are we not? Do you guys agree with that? Would you guys agree it's a little more or a lot more difficult right now than it ever was before financially? Would you agree with that? Okay. Just turn the news on, or go to the gas station. There's some pretty angry people. My truck's a diesel, by the way. In Florida, it's over $5 a gallon for diesel. Okay. There's some pretty unhappy people. There has never been a better time for our business than right now. Ever. For the first time in American history, and I know it's even worse in Australia. I see Lisa's here. Lisa Colback's on right now from Australia. There may be some more Australians here. You think our real estate's expensive, you ought to go to Australia. Right now, the average first-time homeowner in the United States is in their late 30s. That has never happened in American history. Do you think that's because people in their early 30s just don't want a house? Do you think that's the reason why? No, it's not. It's because the gap is widening between what people are earning and what things cost. And that's why we exist. This business model, it's why I am here to help people. I am here to not only close that gap, I'm here to get people over the hump. I am here to remove financial anxiety from people's lives. That's why I'm on these Zooms. Okay. This company has done that for me and my family. Do I like that diesel's $5 a gallon? No. But I also put a bunch of fuel in my boats out back too, as well. And that was because of this company and this opportunity. I don't like it, but it doesn't burden my life. Okay. That's what I want for all of you. And I'm going to tell you that is not possible without me learning some simple skills to put this in front of people. Some of that's just eye contact, smiling. Some of it's knowing the right thing to say to open a conversation. That's what we teach here. And this Saturday, I'm closing this up right now. This Saturday, we have a program for you that we call the Build and Grow Blueprint. Some of you are familiar, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. It's 45 minutes to an hour. It's a training by some of the very people that are here on this Zoom right now. And we are going to we train you every month on the skills that we're talking about so that you can get what you want. And all of you know how to sell. I need to stop. I'm going to save this for another conversation. It's getting too late. Be on the training this Saturday. And better yet, be on the training with another friend, an upline, a downline, a business partner, cross line. Be in person if you can. If not, do it virtually. But get the training. The training, you heard Dr. Cat. If you're going to be a chiropractor, you have to get extended education, right? You just don't learn it once and stop. If you're going to be successful in anything, you need continued education. We do that. It's called the Build and Grow Blueprint. It is free. We don't charge for it. We're going to deliver it to all of you guys through a link on early Saturday morning. A post will go into the TBC's Facebook group. I also give a link post out to some of the team leaders so that all of you guys get it all, and watch it and apply it into your business so that you guys can get the skills you need to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Okay. Thank you all for being here. It feels good to be back in the saddle with you guys again. Thank you for sharing your wins. Thank you, Dr. Cat, for coming in and sharing your knowledge, your story, your expertise. And again, I want you guys to win. And part of that is just learning a few skills so that you are in control. The number one skill of an entrepreneur is learning how to sell. Because if you don't learn how to sell, you're going to be dependent on someone else. And when you're dependent on someone else, that is not a privileged, leveraged position. That's a position that can put you in a bad position. And I don't want that for you guys. So anyway, thank you guys for being here tonight. You guys have a great week. We'll see you this Saturday, Build and Grow Blueprint. See you night.